So, it's Wednesday, man. New week, new beginnings, a lot of good things going on. Really happy with how things have been going. I got a really good workout in yesterday. Felt great. I got my cardio in this morning. So, something that a lot of people try to do is to avoid thinking about their failures. A lot of people avoid thinking about the times that they have attempted something and they couldn't succeed at it, or that they dropped the ball on something, or they let someone down. And I kind of want to speak to the fact that, that's not really the right mentality to have when it comes to that. You shouldn't be trying to escape your failures. You should not be trying to forget about your failures or your shortcomings or who you've let down or what you've done wrong or any of those things. You should be using that as the fuel, like the gasoline that goes on your fire, to get you to go and do these things that you've previously failed at before, and then achieving like higher heights. I really cannot stand when people aren't humble, and you got to understand there's a difference between humble and like cocky. And the reason why I say humble and cocky, okay, humble doesn't mean that you're not self-confident. Humble does not mean that you believe in yourself. Humble does not mean that you don't give yourself credit in anything. Humble means you understand that you're not perfect, that you have failed, and it's because of those failures that you're able to succeed now. It really drives me up the wall, because you got these people that can't figure out like the balance between what self-confidence is and what cockiness is. And because you don't come from a humble heart, those failures, those times you've let people down, those things that you've done wrong in your life, you kind of try to erase them out of your mind. And then you come off so cocky and arrogant, and it makes you naive to what's going on around you, because you don't necessarily apply the experience you already have to the situations that you're in now, because you try to block that stuff out. I'm telling you, it's better to remember them. It's better to approach everything in this life with a humble heart, and knowing, like, look, I've messed up. I've done this wrong in a relationship, or I did, take the wrong step in business, or whatever part of your life that you're trying to apply this advice to. Like, it's way better, always better, will consistently be better to come from a humble heart in business and relationships and everything you do. But again, like I said, that does not mean that you're not self-confident. You gotta walk in confidence. You gotta walk in knowing, like, hey, I can do this. But you have to have the humbleness to acknowledge that you have failed and that you are not perfect. It's a fine line, man. And a lot of people have a very hard time walking it. I do every now and again myself. Like, every now and again, I will find myself in a place where I get like stupid cocky, and I'm like, man, I got this. Nobody's better than me or whatever. And then what typically happens is, and it doesn't take very long, typically God does something to knock me off my pedestal. Whether it would be something small or major. Typically it's the small stuff, because God knows it's the small stuff that gets on my nerves. The small errors, the small mistakes, the small mess ups is typically what drives me nuts, because to me, small errors are made out of just stupidity. Like, that's my opinion. Like, I believe that small errors are generally created because somebody wasn't paying attention or somebody wasn't thinking. And that stuff to me is dumb, because you're supposed to be intentional in everything you do. You got to walk it out with intentionality, and that's why I feel like when you make a small mistake, or like a small error, something that is not like high level, things that could have been avoided, that just means you weren't doing what you should have been doing. You weren't attentive. You weren't watching what you were doing. And so God typically puts that in me. Like, I'll think I got things in the bag, and then what will happen is, like, something small will happen, and that'll be a reminder to me, hey, you are not perfect. You do make mistakes. You need to come down a notch and stop thinking you've just got this, because you don't just have everything. Nobody does. But you gotta walk in self-confidence, and you gotta stay humble. If you ever intend on really making impact, if you ever intend on making the right moves, the smart moves, the things that are going to get you through to that next level that you're trying to obtain, whether it be in relationship or business or friendships or your relationships with your children, whatever that looks like, it's got to come from a humble heart. You have to, in your heart, be humble and acknowledge, like, look, I'm not perfect. I have made mistakes, and I need to recognize that, so going forward, I can do better. That's kind of all I got today, man. I wanted to put that out there because I don't see enough out there where people talk about the humble heart and how, that's a necessity. If you want to be successful in the things that you're doing, if you want to put off the right image, if you want your kids or your spouse or your friends or your job or your business to be able to see who you really are, you got to come with a humble heart, so they understand that, like, look, while I might not, be perfect, I'm going to do everything I can to make this go right, but I am not perfect, and I know that, and I'm not going to promise false results just to make myself look good. I'm going to promise you real, intentional results that I'm going to work my ass off to give you. That's the heart you got to come to the table with. I'm out for this video. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Keep killing it. I'll see you guys back here on Friday. I love you guys very much. I hope you guys have an amazing week, all right? Go kill it. I'm out.